Hello, welcome back to the kitchen. This month we're going to be making roasted vegetables. So this is going to be another easy vegetable dish, and I'm going to be doing some potatoes and carrots. These both take about the same amount of time to roast as long as you cut them in pieces that are about equal size, which is 30 to 45 minutes roasting time at 425 degrees in the oven. I have my oven preheating right now to 425. If you want to do some other vegetables, add some other vegetables to your mix, you have to be aware of how long the cooking time is so that you don't end up with some vegetables that are really hard and underdone and other vegetables that are really mushy and overdone. So I'm going to be linking down below a really nice visual vegetable roasting chart to help you out with that. And step number 1 is going to be washing. Step number 2 will be chopping. Step number 3 will be mixing our vegetable chunks with some oil, and step 4 will be the actual roasting. So let's get started. You might notice that the potatoes have these what are called eyes on them. That would just be like if you were going to plant it, that would sprout into a new potato plant. So we just pull those off. Also, some people like to peel their potatoes first. I don't bother with that. I think the peel adds flavor, but it's totally personal preference. So what I just realized is that we don't have a peeler here, and I forgot to bring my peeler from home. I normally would peel the carrots first. I don't know why I don't bother peeling the potatoes, but I always peel the carrots. But basically I think I'm just gonna do them mostly unpeeled, except for any bad spots or weird looking spots. And I'm sure it'll turn out fine because they're getting baked, roasted at 425 degrees. So if I did miss any dirt while I was scrubbing them, I mean, it's gonna be cooked at a high temperature. So we're just gonna go with this. So I'm cutting off the very tip and the very top because those tend to get, those tend to get the most dirt in them for whatever reason. And then if it has a big crack like this, I cut the crack because that can also have dirt hiding in it. There, so I just shaved that part. There's a little weird spot there. And it looks pretty good now. So as I finish cutting, I'm going to put them in this bowl, and this is what I'll use to mix them with the oil and the herbs later. Alright, so for cutting the carrots, I like to find a spot where it kind of seems to rest as well as you can. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to put the knife on top like this, and then I'm just going to hold it carefully, and I'm going to slice in a little bit, see, like that, and then I'm going to let go and push down. So that helps you protect your hands. So most of the time when you're doing the actual cut, your hand isn't even there, so that makes it less likely that you're going to accidentally cut yourself. And I'm just going to do these in short sticks about like this. And I find that this kind of a size tends to work well with potato chunks that are about like, I don't know, about an inch or a little less in size. So this size should go well with the potato size that I'm planning on. So these are going to go in the bowl. Okay, and then again, it seems to rest pretty naturally like that. So just hold it carefully. Start the knife, just start it. And then just push down to finish it. And then for these, your hand doesn't even have to be there. If it's a smaller one like this, I may or may not quarter it if it's already kind of a small one. Bigger ones I'm definitely gonna quarter or even go further if it's a really wide carrot. But if it's a super skinny one like this, I probably just need to do it in half. like that to get the same kind of size as the other ones. Right, so potatoes. So potatoes. Remember the eyes that we had to trim off? Oh wait, I'm gonna save these scraps for the compost at home. Hang on here. I'm just gonna get these out of the way. The less cluttered your cutting board is, the better, because the least likely is you're gonna get all distracted and you're gonna get cramped and you're gonna cut yourself more likely. But if you have more space, it's easier to focus and make sure you have enough space to cut safely. Okay, I usually like a slightly smaller knife for this part. So the place where each eye was, it kind of tastes weird. So you have to cut that part away. And also anything that's like this big scrape, because dirt could be hiding in there, bacteria, whatever. This knife is not too sharp, is it? Okay, so see, there's another little bad spot there. There's a eye cluster, so make it like a little V-shaped cut. And there, just got rid of it. This one actually has a lot of scrapes on it. And a lot of little bad spots. I mean, you don't have to get too picky, but yeah, maybe this is why some people just peel the whole thing. But most potatoes aren't quite as spotty as this one, so. So for me, it takes less time to just do this instead of peel the whole thing. Okay, that one's good. Now technically you should turn the potato around to do the other side of the V so that you're not cutting towards yourself. But sometimes I just get going quickly and I just don't bother with that. So if you're not very experienced with a knife, definitely flip the potato around to do the other side of the V so you're not cutting towards yourself. Probably also a good idea if you're doing one on the top, because it kind of doesn't balance as easily. And when I'm flipping stuff off my knife, you might notice I'm always going this direction. Like I'm never going like that, because that would be an easy way to cut yourself. When you need to clear stuff out of the way, you should use the back side of the knife, like that. Not the sharp part, because it will make your knife get dull more quickly by scraping it against the cutting board like that. Alright, I think we're good. So I'm gonna get these out of the way. And that beef was just the oven being ready, which means that it's now all the way up to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way. I'm not gonna use soap on this because it was just a vegetable juices that got on it. It's not like it had meat or dairy on it. Okay, so same kind of a deal with the potatoes. If you don't have to have your hand there, then don't have your hand there, because it just makes it less chance that you're going to cut yourself. Okay, so these cubes are approximately about like 1 inch by 1 inch of a size. Maybe some are going to be a little smaller. Bigger potato, we may need to do some more horizontal cuts before we go start cutting the other direction. So I'm doing the horizontal cuts along the top, like that. And then I'm doing all the cuts going this direction together, so it saves time. And again, I'm just rinsing my cutting board with water because all it had on it was vegetables. You shouldn't ever, if you don't know this already, you shouldn't ever cut meat or dairy on the same cutting board as you're going to be cutting fruits and vegetables on. That's going to get cross-contamination, what they call it, which is any bacteria or whatever on the meat, especially if it's raw meat, could be getting onto your fruits and vegetables, dairy, etc. A lot of people have separate color-coded cutting boards for fruits and vegetables, meat, dairy. I don't really do that. I just have a rule that only fruits and vegetables can ever be cut on my cutting board. And if I need to cut dairy or meat, I just get a plate and just cut it on the plate and then put the plate in the dishwasher. So then you don't have to worry about that. But some people really like the color coding cutting board system. So, all right, so let's find some nice herbs and such that we want to put on our vegetables. Okay, so here's the olive oil, we need that. You could also use canola oil or something like that. I don't know what else you could use. Avocado oil. Double check if you're gonna use some kind of weird oil. Double check and make sure that it doesn't have a low burning point, because if it's something with a low burning point, it may not be so good to do in a high temperature oven like what we're doing right now. So, and I don't know what they are for all the different oils. So if you're trying to use something besides olive oil, which is what I am used to, I would just double check it first to make sure it's suitable for vegetable roasting at 425 degrees. I didn't really look this up, so I just usually eyeball it, but let me get out the tablespoon just so you guys have an idea of how much oil I'm adding. Okay, so this is 1 tablespoon. So let me just start adding it tablespoon by tablespoon and see how it goes. All right, so there's 1. I'm just gonna drizzle it over. 2. All right, so I'm gonna try and show you this without spilling it everywhere. But as you can see, each piece of vegetable is kind of shiny because it's been coated with the oil. So as I'm mixing really thoroughly because I want to make sure every piece gets completely coated with the oil. And if it looks like that's not happening, I may need to add more oil, but I think this is actually enough. So if you're doing kind of what I did, I would say, 5 or 6 medium-sized potatoes and 5 or 6 medium to small-sized carrots, then 2 tablespoons of oil will probably be enough for you. All right, here's our spice container. So what do we want? Cinnamon. That might be a bit weird. We could try it. Cajun seasoning. That could be good. Cilantro, or maybe if you're in a Mexican cooking mood, you might try some cilantro. Cumin. Dill would probably be a bit weird. I use dill in my tuna salad. Nutmeg, that's like, I use that more for baking. Let's see. Cardamom pods, but those would need ground up anyway, if we were gonna use those. Cloves, I don't know, I'd be more likely to use that in baking or with ham. Ground red pepper, that could be nice for a kick, although we won't need it if we're doing the Cajun spice anyway. Allspice, I use that more for baking. But I don't know, there may be some different cultures that would use that on their vegetables. Different people use spices in different ways. Ginger. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with the Cajun, and the Cajun includes, oh wait, that's the crushed red pepper. Where'd the Cajun go? Here it is. The Cajun spice includes garlic, spices including black pepper, cayenne pepper, oregano, and chili peppers, sea salt, onion, paprika, and red and green bell peppers. Okay, that sounds pretty good. If you don't really want something too spicy, I would recommend maybe putting on some thyme, some rosemary. That's also really good for roast vegetables. I don't think I have any thyme or rosemary here, that I'm seeing. So I'm gonna go with the Cajun because I do like it a bit spicy. But definitely thyme or rosemary could be really good, or even oregano if you want to go for more of a Mediterranean taste. Those could also be really good. And it already had some salt in it, so I'm not gonna add any salt. But normally if I was just doing thyme, rosemary, whatever, I would also add some sea salt to that. But the Cajun spice already included salt. So we need to mix this up really well. Alright, and if you feel like you want it to be a bit more of a strong flavor, you could add more than that. But I'm going to say since Cajun spice is already pretty spicy, that's probably going to be good for me. Alright, now we need to put this on our baking sheets. You could line these with foil if you want an easier cleanup. I used to always do that, but I'm trying to steer away from that now because I'm just thinking, where does all that foil go once you ball it up and put it in the trash? It just goes to a landfill probably. So I'll just put these directly on the baking sheets, and then I'll just wash them when I'm done. It won't really take that long to wash them. Okay, so we want to spread these out pretty evenly. I'll try to show you. So that they aren't crowded up against each other. It's going to make the cooking time faster that way, if you make sure they're not too crowded. Alright, so the guidelines said to cook these for 30 to 45 minutes. Say, for example, and this will be all in that chart that I'm linking down below, but say, for example, I wanted to add some asparagus to this mix. Asparagus takes less time than these to roast, so it would take like 15 to 20 minutes for the asparagus. So say I was going to roast these for 30 minutes, I would put these in first. Then after about 10 to 15 minutes, I would take it out, add the asparagus, put it back in. Another possible solution is to actually cut the longer roasting stuff, like potatoes and carrots, into even smaller pieces than your shorter roasting stuff, like asparagus or broccoli or whatever. And then they could all end up being done at the same time. So it just depends on how you want to handle that. But we're going to put this in our oven. Alright, so there they are. They're in the oven. After, say, like maybe after 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to check on them. Switch the trays. So bottom one will move down, bottom one will move up to the top, top one will move down to the bottom. And at that same time when I switch them, I'm also going to get my little spatula and just mix them around to make sure they're being evenly baked and they're not, or roasted, not baked, and that they're not getting stuck to the pans too much. So they are sticking a little bit, so I'm just scraping the ones that got stuck off of the pan, but they didn't get stuck too much. And then I'm spreading them out again evenly. Actually, wow, okay. Actually, it seems like these got done a lot faster than I was counting on. And I think it may be because maybe I had them cut up into some smaller bits. Well, yeah, okay. So you see how this carrot, it goes in super easily? I can cut this carrot super easily with just this little plastic spatula. And then some of the potatoes, I can cut pretty easily. But some of them are still maybe a bit crisp. Yeah, so some of these are done and some of them maybe could go like a few more minutes. So I'm gonna put them back in for just a few more minutes and then that'll be it. I don't have to wait a whole other 15 minutes like I was expecting. All right, so I've just taken these out of the oven. So the first round was about 20 minutes I left them in, and then I left them in for about another 5 more minutes while I washed some dishes just now. And you might, hopefully, I don't know if you can see this. So every time I push down on this, it's going through a potato, and it's going through really easily. And we already tested the carrots the first time and found that they were done. So it was just a few of the potatoes that were still a little bit hard. And they're now done. So it took about 25 minutes total, which was only about 5 minutes less than the shortest estimated time from the vegetable chart. So not that much shorter, but still it made a difference. So depending on how big or small you cut your pieces, it does make a difference. So these look really delicious. You can see how lovely and golden they look. And I think this is gonna be really, really yummy. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen, and let me know if you make your own roasted vegetables. What are your favorite vegetables to roast? And if you're making it for the first time, how did it turn out? Have a great week, and I'll see you again next month for In the Kitchen. Bye!